Hello, my name is Hannah, and I am going to be doing my presentation over traveling after a stroke as well as different accessibility travel tips. First, for an overview of the presentation, we are going to talk about the importance of this topic, and then we're going to talk about the Air Carrier Access Act. Then we'll go into TSA Cares, wheelchair and in-flight assistance, Wheel the World, how-to videos, travel experience simulation, and lastly we'll end with some KCI perks and extra travel tips. So for the importance of this topic, traveling post-stroke can be stressful, and that fear can oftentimes stop survivors from traveling. So I'm going to talk about and share some different resources that can make travel easier so stroke survivors can get back to enjoying travel. It's also important to understand the different options for accessible traveling so it is easier for you when you travel and you can feel more confident. Now we are going to talk about the Air Carrier Access Act, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability in air travel. This act applies to all flights of U.S. airlines and to flights to or from the United States by foreign airlines. Now I'm going to talk about some more of the different rules that this act covers. So first, airlines may not require advance notice that a person with a disability is traveling unless preparation is needed, such as a respiratory hookup, in which that case 48 hours is needed. Airlines may not refuse transportation to people on the basis of disability. Airlines may not limit the number of people with disabilities on a flight. Airlines may not keep anyone out of a specific seat on the basis of disability. Airlines may not require a person with a disability to travel with another person. Airlines are required to provide assistance with boarding, deplaning, and making connections. Aircraft with more than 60 seats and an accessible lavatory must have an onboard wheelchair. New aircraft with 30 or more seats must have movable aisle armrests on half the aisle seats in the aircraft. New aircraft with 100 or more seats must have priority space for storing a passenger's folding wheelchair in the cabin. And lastly, wheelchairs and other assistive devices have priority over other items for storage in the baggage compartment. Next, we will talk about TSA Cares, which is a program that provides information on security procedures that aim to help passengers with disabilities, medical conditions, and individuals needing additional assistance to better prepare for the security screening process. You may inform the TSA officer of your disability or medical condition verbally, by using the TSA notification card, or by providing medical documentation. If you are unable to stand or walk, you may remain seated in your mobility device, and the TSA officer will conduct a test of your hands and pat you down. You can also sign up for TSA pre-check lanes that require less procedures. Next, you can also contact TSA Cares number that can be found on Google through the security checkpoint. Be sure to contact them at least 72 hours prior to your travel time. Here are two photos of the TSA notification card that can be found online, and you can print it off. You can hand this to security or a TSA officer so they know how to best serve you. On the left-hand side is the front side of the card, and in that blank white space is where you will write either your disability or the medical condition that you have that could impact the security screening process. Next, we'll talk about wheelchair assistance. So, wheelchair reservations for terminal and departure level curbside assistance can be arranged by calling your airline. You can also make wheelchair reservations if, let's say, you are not able to walk long distances. You can get a wheelchair for that. Wheelchair assistance is also available from the airport curb, to and from gates, and between gates for connecting flights. If wheelchair assistance is needed at the ground transportation areas, so areas like the rental car shuttle, economy parking, or the hotel shuttle. There is a number that you are able to call prior to reaching the terminal, or you can also notify an airport police officer or a traffic control officer upon your arrival. You can also use your own wheelchair up to the aircraft, which it will be stored in the baggage hold area. Next, for the in-flight assistance, so airlines can provide assistance with boarding, deplaning, and other in-flight needs. For example, if you were to have a medical condition or a disability, you could board the plane first. You should let a flight attendant know if you're going to need assistance storing or retrieving your carry-on luggage, so they can help you with that. And airlines generally provide assistance for wheelchair users after all the other passengers have left. Next, I'm going to talk about Wheel the World, which is a travel agency that focuses on accessible travel. So there are many different agencies, but this is just the one that I focused on. So they find accessible hotels where you can actually pick how many people you're traveling with and how many different accessible rooms you would need. You can look for things to do on your trip, transportation. You can plan multi-day trips, which have pre-packaged plans that you can pick from. You could do group trips, and you can also find different verified destinations, which a verified destination is a place that the Wheel the World team members have actually been to, and they have measured each point of accessibility there. And this travel agency is free to use for travelers to find and book accessible travel options, which also makes it a good agency to use. Another tool that you can use that is also free is called the Wheelmate app. So you can download this onto your iPad or a phone, and you can use this while traveling. So this app allows you to select your location or your city, and then it will pull up and pinpoint the different places near you that have accessible bathrooms or parking. And this can be helpful if you're maybe in an unfamiliar area and you want to find somewhere that has an accessible parking area or a restroom. Next, we're going to talk about the Kansas City International Airport how-to videos. So if you go to the Kansas City International Airport how-to videos, if you just Google that, it will pull up a web page and you will be able to find a variety of short videos to help you know your way around the new terminal before you arrive, since the KCI airport was just redone not that long ago. There are videos over departures, arrivals, drop-off and pickup, parking garage, the surface lot, entrance to cell phone waiting lot, the cell phone waiting lot to the arrivals curb, departures to economy parking, shopping, dining, and art, the Kansas City air travel experience, specialty rooms, and a terminal virtual tour. So a new feature that the KCI airport has is the Kansas City air travel experience simulation. So this is a simulation and it aims to help individuals, including those that have sensory differences, autism spectrum disorders, auditory or visual disabilities, different medical conditions, or even just first-time travelers or people that feel anxious when they fly. And this helps them become familiar with and comfortable with the air travel process. So some different features that are part of this simulation include check-in. So participants can practice checking in at a real check-in kiosk. They can check their bags and also go through the whole boarding pass process. They will go through security so they can experience the security screening. They will do boarding so they can practice walking down the jet bridge, locating their seat, they'll put their carry-ons away and buckle up their seat belts. And then there's a flight simulation, so it replicates the boarding, a safety demonstration, a takeoff, cruising, landing, and then the whole deboarding process. And then you also get a really unique sensory experience. So it's like a 360 video display with audio, and it replicates the sounds and sights of a real flight. So engine sounds, wing mechanics, tires screeching, and pilot voiceovers. So this is a really cool simulation to participate in if you are feeling anxious or you want to practice all of this before you actually do go on your trip. So you do have to book an appointment, and to do so, you'll just Google Kansas City International Airport specialty rooms, and then it will give you a drop down of what to pick through, and you'll select Kansas City Air Travel Experience. And then from there, you will be able to choose a day and a time that works for you. And the awesome part about this is that it is free. So some other cool things about the KCI airport, since it is so new, it is very accessible. So during the whole construction process, they consulted with groups such as the Whole Person and Dementia Friendly KC when they were making construction decisions. They have that really cool simulation room that I had just mentioned. They also have visual paging for those that have difficulty with audio. They also have a service animal relief area, and then they have different specialty rooms. So they have a sensory room, a quiet room, and they also have accessible restrooms that have adult changing stations. And lastly, we'll end with some different tips for travel. So keeping your medication in your personal item bag in case you were to need it, and you should also keep an amount in all your bags in case one of them were to get lost. You also want to limit salty snacks because this can increase your blood pressure and your water retention. Maybe consider compression stocking to help reduce risk of blood clots. Also considering traveling with a companion or a partner so that you do have extra support if it is available. You always want to stay well hydrated. Seeking out travel assistance from your airline is a really important one, so that way you can feel as confident and comfortable as you can about your travel experience. And then allowing yourself extra time to reduce stress in case things take longer than expected, which is just a golden rule for anyone traveling. And lastly, getting up to walk or stretch if you are able to during your flight. Here are a list of the different resources that I used for this presentation. Thank you for listening.